Recording, yes. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Stacie. We've been talking for a while. Hello, everyone else. I'm so glad you're here. First orientation. This is actually our first time doing orientation this way, but it's also the first of 3 orientation meetings for the winter 2021 cohort. We're super excited that you're here. We're going to run through some information today, just kind of get you oriented, but we're also going to try and meet each other, just kind of share a little bit, kind of start to get to know each other too. This is part of your group for the next 2 months. Over the duration of the project, you'll get to know the people on your team really well, but you'll have this kind of extended team. We have 5 teams that are running this time, 4 teams doing kind of the shopping list project, which is the one that you're all going to be doing, and then we have a team of people who are coming back for a second time to do what we call the advanced project. So 20 developers, close to 20 mentors as well. I mean, it's a big group. It's going to be a lot of fun. So super excited to have you here. Stacie, anything you want to say before I was going to kick off some introductions?
I love that emphasis on that, like, you all will mostly be working in your teams, like your individual teams, TCL 16, TCL 17, 18, 19. But we definitely want you to know that you have this wider community available to you that you should be connecting with. So that's why we've been doing these orientations like cohort wide, so that we have our friends in Uganda and our friends in South America and our friends in France. So you have a whole community here. So I'm so excited to meet you all. That's all.
Yep. Cool. All right. So let's do some introductions. So how this is going to work, and maybe Stacie, if you could put in the chat while I say it. It's hard to type and say it at the same time. We'll say our name. So it's actually really helpful sometimes, I know for me, to hear you say your name the way you say it, so I can try to say it the same way. So you'll say your name. If you remember which team you're on, so TCL 16, 17, 18, 19, where you're located. So we have people on 4 different continents on this call at the moment, so it'd be good to know kind of where you are. And then what I thought might be kind of fun, actually also your pronouns too. So if that's the thing that you do. So I know it's maybe a little less common in South America to do this, but just as a way of kind of showing inclusivity and things, like my pronouns are here on my profile. So mine are he, him, his. So and then the thing I thought would be kind of fun to do is just maybe tell us what's your favorite thing about the place where you live at the moment. You may have things that you don't like about where you live, but there's got to be something that you like, that even if it's like, I kind of like this thing. That's still the favorite thing if you stack rank everything, right? So what's the favorite thing about the place where you live? So I will go first. I'm Andrew. I'm founder of Collab Lab along with Stacie. And what were the things? Oh yeah. So he, him, his, my pronouns. I'm going to be actually directly mentoring TCL 20. So that's the advanced project. This is our second time running that project, and I'm super excited to do that. I'm located in Portland, Oregon, so on the west coast of the United States. And my favorite thing about where I live is that Portland is a city, so it has city stuff, like lots of things to do when you can go out and do things. But it's also very manageable. I used to live in the Bay Area for a while, and the difference is that you can decide to go to a restaurant on a Friday night, drive there, park right outside the place, wait for about 15 minutes to get in, and have a lovely experience. So wasn't really possible in San Francisco. So that's me. And then I guess we'll have you hand it off to the next person too. So I'll have Stacie go next.
Hi, I'm Stacie, co-founder along with Andrew. Pronouns are she, her, hers. I am not directly mentoring any teams this cohort, but more holding the fort down and supporting our mentors. But do know that I can be a mentor to any of you if you ever need anything. I'm absolutely here for you. Let's see, where am I located? Sacramento, California. And what's my favorite thing about where you live? I could go on endlessly. You will beg for death. But probably my favorite thing is the weather, like the fact that you can go outside and walk anywhere you want to go any day of the entire year. Like It never rains, it never snows, it never really gets that cold. It's always sunny and dry. And so like, even like we're in the Valley of California, so it gets very hot temperature wise. So when it gets like 100 plus Fahrenheit, it's still like pleasant outside because it's so dry that if you're in the shade, you're like, I could probably be wearing a jacket right now and it would be fine. Because it's the desert. So the weather is beautiful here. Okay, that is about me. I'll pass it off. Joseph. Joseph Mawa. I'm probably not saying that right.
Yeah, Joseph's
Frozen?
Yeah, his video's been frozen for a bit, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Connected. It'll come back to him.
I'll pass it on to Lauren then.
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Lauren. I'm a mentor this time around for TCL 17. I live in the northern part of the United States. I live in Minnesota. We border with Canada. She, her, hers are my pronouns. What else can I tell you? I think one of my favorite things about living in Minnesota is that we have all 4 seasons and they're pretty well defined. So right now we have a ton of snow outside. We just had a blizzard last week and got like just short of a foot of snow, and it's snowing again today. So I really like the change of seasons. Let's see, did I miss anything else? No, I think I got everything. Let's try Verónica, Vero.
Hello, everyone. Nice
Hi.
to meet you. My name is Verónica, and my pronouns is she, here. I'm from Colombia. One more favorite things where I like is that there is so much diversity and culture. And my team is TCL 18. And I'm very happy and grateful to be here.
We're so happy to have you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to choose somebody else to go next, Veronica?
You can repeat me, please?
Do you want to pick someone else to go next? No worries. I can pick. How about Alex? You're up. Thanks, Veronica.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm currently located in France, in the south of France. I live in Toulouse, which is a city in the southwest of France, but I'm currently with my partner's family right now, near Bordeaux, kind of in the countryside a little bit, in a region called Dordogne. And I'm originally from California, but I've lived here in France for the past 5 years now. And my favorite thing about where I live right now is the food during the holiday season. It's just like, I mean, France and food in general is just amazing, but during the holiday season, they just go all out, and it's just a wonderful time. So that's me. I will pass it on to Luca.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Luca, and my pronouns are he, him, his. I'm currently in country of Georgia. This is where I'm originally from, and my favorite thing here in Georgia is food, actually, because yeah, it's very different from everything else. It's a little bit heavy, but that's the type of food I love. So. Yeah, I will be mentoring TCL 19, our European African team. So very excited to get started.
Great. Who's next, Luca?
Yeah, Mike.
Hey everyone. I'm Mike. Apologies if my video's been moving all around. I'm making breakfast here. Let's see. My pronouns are he, him, his. I will be mentoring TCL 17, and I'm in Portland, Oregon. And my favorite things about where I live, it's similar to Andrew's, which is that, you know, it's it's a city, so you can feel like you're in a city, but you can also leave whenever you want very easily, and it only takes 15 minutes to get outside of the city. So yeah, and I'm excited to be here. Let's see. Alejandro?
Hi everyone, my name is Alejandro. I live in La Paz, Bolivia. My pronouns is he, him, and his. My favorite thing in my city is the weather because it's not hot and cold. And fortunately, I like to view to the mountain. There is a beautiful mountain. It's the Ijimani Mountains. My team is the TCL 18. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alejandro.
Chiamaka, is that? I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but do you want to go next? Oh, you're muted. I think you're still muted. There we go.
Okay, I'm really sorry. I was speaking. Hello.
It's okay, no problem.
Worries.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. My name is Chiamaka. I'm from Nigeria, and I live in Nigeria. So my team is TCL 19. My pronouns she, her, has.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and my favorite thing about Nigeria, okay, I really like the fact that we are becoming more aware, the youth here, we are becoming more aware of what is happening in the world. Like, we don't have to depend on the government or the older generation. I just like the fact that the youth of my generation, we are really becoming more aware, and internet is really helping us, and it's just uniting the whole world. And I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited to be part of this program too. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, it's such an example of what you're talking about, just the people that are on the call and all the different places that people are able to connect from, right? So yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad all of you are here.
Everyone.
Cool. So it looks like Joseph might be having internet issues or something. So but like you said in the chat, like, it's recorded, so he can come back and watch, or there's the other 2 sessions if he wants to stay up late and join one and meet a few more people. So I guess we'll get started. So Stacie, do you want me to share my screen, or do you want to do that? Okay.
Yeah.
I will share my screen.
I mean, if you don't want to, you can always tell me and I will do it.
No, it should be fine. Let's see. All right. Okay, I have it ready.
So the document that we'll be going over right now, you can all find a copy of it in your team's GitHub repos. So if you want to go back and look at the information again.
Exactly right. Okay, just got to make everything bigger so I can see. All right. Okay, cool. So so yeah, so we're going to go through this doc. There's a fair bit of information here, but you know, make sure, like, just like at any point, if you have questions or something, just you know, feel free to interrupt and ask. You know, the whole point of this is that you understand, you know, what you're about to do for the next 8 weeks. So so yeah, so what is the Collab Lab? So the Collab Lab, it's at one level, it's a US-based nonprofit. So it's a corporation. Stacie and I are on the board of the nonprofit. But the Collab Lab exists to give early career developers experience working on a software team. So this is something that's really hard to do on your own. It's hard to, you know, if you're self-studying, or even a lot of times in a boot camp where it's more like a school setting, you don't have as many opportunities to sort of work as a team. And working on a team with sort of professional web developers, people who are in the industry, who can kind of tell you like, oh yeah, this is what actually happens on real software teams. So that's what we're here to do. The project you're going to be working on is you're going to be building what we call a smart shopping list. This is a shopping list that sort of learns your habits over time. So as you make purchases, it starts to put things that you're going to need soon towards the top of the list. So there's a little algorithm that kind of determines the order of the items in the list. All the teams build the same app from the same set of instructions, so that we have project boards that have all the stories written out and everything. But each of the apps comes out a little bit differently, kind of reflecting the personality of the group. So you can see one example here. There's this video demo of the app from TCL6. So won't take the 5 minutes to play this right now, but I do encourage you to just click on that, kind of watch and kind of watch the walkthrough of how, what the finished app is going to look like. All right.
One quick thing I want to call out there too is that this app, every time we run the Collab Lab, changes a little bit. So what you're seeing there, that exact product, might differ a little bit from what you're creating. And especially the design and look of it will too, because your team will be collaborating on how you want your app to look. So it's a really good skeleton to look at, but know that yours might look a little different.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. So when new developers and mentors join, so you're joining this like really a community. So at this point we've had 60 or so. Actually, I guess with this group we'll be in like close to 70 something early career people who have joined Collab Lab. We've like over 40 mentors. So this really is a community at this point. Slack is pretty active these days. It's just this group of like just super supportive people all over the world. So every quarter, so we're starting off kind of winter quarter is your cohort, and then we'll have a spring, summer, and fall cohort. Each cohort starts with several teams based in different regions. So this time in winter, we're running 2 North America teams, the Latin America team, and the Europe Africa team, and then the one advanced team, which is this time based in North America, but in future cohorts, we'll try to move that around so that other people get a chance to experience that. Each team is comprised of 4 developers who collaborate on the app and actually build the app, and then some number of mentors, usually 3 mentors, sometimes 4, who are there to help and support you through the project. So the reason that we do what we're doing is that knowing how to code is just sort of just really only one part of being a developer, being a professional developer. The other really important skill is knowing how to collaborate effectively on a team. So there are very few instances of a single person building the whole thing and kind of be able to sort of successfully make a living that way. It does happen. I mean, you can freelance and you can do different things, but the more you know how to work on a software team, the more sort of employable you're going to be, the easier it's going to be to sort of talk about your experience in interviews and that kind of thing. So one of the things that we think is really important to that is pair programming. So each week you are going to spend a certain amount of, the expectation here is that you spend around 5 hours a week on Collab Lab. And the expectation in addition to that is that you'll spend 2 or 3 hours of that directly pair programming with your partner for the week. So this is where some of the best collaboration happens. Pair programming, it's an opportunity to both teach the other person, but also to learn from them. You get different perspectives and insights on the issues you're facing. So if you imagine, what a Venn diagram is, where the overlapping circles, each person brings slightly different experiences. You may have learned something about hooks, and the other person may know something about NoSQL databases or something. But together you're going to be more effective, kind of solving the problem at hand. So there's no single right way to do pair programming. It's actually, there are a lot of different ways to approach it. But in general, what you're going to do is you're going to meet with your partner on a Zoom call or some kind of video call to work on the story that you've been assigned for that week. You're encouraged to try out different approaches. If you've done some reading about it or something, you have some ideas you want to try out, or there are tools you want to try. There are ways you can sort of share a single, like coding file if you want to, things like that. But just, be open to experimenting and trying different things as you work through, and like based on the styles of the people you're working with. So, is that where I'm supposed to stop, Stacie? Can you be the MC here? Or am I supposed to I think that's it,
I'm
right?
not sure. Lauren waved, so I think that it might be Lauren.
Yeah,
Oh, is it Lauren?
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
all right.
Yeah. Do you mind
I'll
if
go
I
look.
share my screen? Because I have a few
sure.
tabs open to show.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oops.
Are you able to
A
do
moment. Yeah, I am. I just keep clicking the
Okay.
wrong button.
it?
Double record. All right, let's see what we have here. How does that look? Can you see?
That's great.
Great. Okay. So we're going to start talking about some of the tiny details about how you're going to be working together. So I'll stop at the end of each section for questions, but know that this reference is available for you in your repository as well to kind of go back through and look at it again. And as Stacie pointed out in the chat, it's also available in Spanish. So you can take your time to look at that at your leisure. So the project that you'll be working on together with your team is organized in your GitHub repository. So here I am at the TCL 17 repository, right? Here's the code. And if you go into the projects tab, you will find your project board that has this backlog of user stories. And then each week, you will work with a partner. You'll divide off into 2 pairs, and each pair will work on a specific issue. Now, all of these issues have a description and the acceptance criteria, the AC, that need to be met in order for that code to be merged into the main branch in GitHub. So we work off of this backlog of user stories. So again, you're going to split off into pairs, working with different pairs throughout the week. So you'll have the opportunity to pair with different people on your team throughout the course of the project, which is really nice. Like, you get to learn how different people work and collaborate with them, understand what people's strengths are and what they bring to the team. So that's a really great part. It's one of my favorite parts about Collab Lab, is kind of learning everyone's different strengths. So a task or a story is done when all of the following are true. So those AC or acceptance criteria have been met. If it's in particular a UI focused feature, that it's been reviewed for accessibility and it meets the accessibility criteria for that particular story. The other pair of developers will be the first people to review your code after you submit a pull request. So they determine, okay, yep, it's met those acceptance criteria and it's good, solid code. And then finally, we mentors serve as product owners, and then we do sort of a final review of that code. So by the end of your 8-week project, you'll have this really fantastic application. It's pretty fun to go look through past cohorts and teams repositories to see how they've approached problems, because really every team approaches their problems so differently. So it's really interesting to see what other people have done too. And the finished products all are similar, but they look so different, and it brings that particular team's personality to the forefront. So any questions? What questions do you have about that particular section? Okay, I will move on. So again,
just real quick, if you
Go
do
ahead.
have questions that you think of as Lauren's presenting, you can drop them in the chat and we can get to them too when she gets to the end of the section. So use the chat.
there The grocery people are here. My dogs are barking. Okay, so as Andrew was saying, really the most important part about the Collab Lab is learning how to collaborate in a remote setting and learning how to coordinate and communicate as a team to keep everyone aware of what's happening. So it's super helpful for both you and your teammates and the mentors if you're documenting your work. So we strongly encourage you at the beginning of your week to submit a draft PR. So here's just an example draft PR. It doesn't even have to include any changes. Like right at the beginning of the week, put up a draft pull request. And in that pull request, then you can start making comments and put in research throughout the week of what it is you're working on, different technical solutions that you're finding. So that way you have your code and your comments and your research all kind of co-located in one place. Another way that teams handle this is that in Slack, they'll create a particular thread for the week that's related to their issue. So here's an example from a team from TCL 10. Their week 4, this particular pair, they would organize all of their comments and their research and the work that they did in one thread throughout the week so that it was really organized in one particular place. And then it was easy for like mentors to jump in and give a hand if they needed to, and just to see the approach that that pair was taking. So using a draft PR and using threads in Slack is super helpful for communication about the work that you're doing. So speaking of Slack, Slack is really the main way that we communicate during our time here at Collab Lab. So some particular tips for working with Slack. Threads are super, super important. It's a really great way to kind of organize your communication around a particular issue, right? Here it says they encapsulate conversations, so future you is able to kind of go back and search through Slack very easily to find the information, the question, and the answer all in one place. So threads are really a useful tool to use in Slack. In terms of notifications, it's a great idea to, if you need someone's attention in particular, it's always a great idea to tag that person specifically or to tag that group. So for example, when you're ready for your the other pair of developers to review your code, you can tag @group TCL 17, this is ready. This code is ready for your review. So tagging specific people, it just gets their attention more quickly, and it lets others know, hey, I don't have to pay attention to this particular message. And then using Slack and working remotely is really different than communicating face-to-face. Like we'll have that face-to-face time too for the weekly syncs and during office hours, et cetera. But communicating via Slack really requires you to make that extra effort to kind of communicate your tone and emotion and just making things light and fun. So using GIFs and emoji liberally really helps communicate that tone, because otherwise sometimes it can come across as really dry. Cool. What questions about using Slack or draft PRs?
I don't have any questions, but I want to emphasize so much here. Be loud in Slack. It is the only way we can really build our team and get to know each other and build that trust that you should have on a team. So it doesn't just have to be about the project you're working on or coding. It's a place for you to build these friendships and these connections. So post in Slack, be loud, have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to just pop in Slack and just like share how my week is going. And so we mentors really try to model that example too, right? To encourage that open communication and really communicating out in the open. If you're having an issue on a particular story that you're working on, instead of DMing a mentor, like post that question in Slack so that everybody can jump in and help, right? Being as open and communicative and as open as possible in Slack. It's really great. Cool. So in terms of the development process, like what your day-to-day will be within working with GitHub, right now you've been committing right to main as you've added yourself to the contributors file. But during the project, you'll create feature branches in GitHub off of the main branch. So, and we follow this naming convention. So it'll be the initials of the first person, dash, initials of the second person, dash, short description of whatever issue that you're working on. So for example, here's Stacie and Alejandro are working together on this issue, connect to Firestore. So when you're ready to start working on a feature one person in the pair will create that branch, push it up to GitHub so that their partner can pull that down. And during the first few weeks, especially of the project, we'll go through that process together during the weekly sync. So nobody feels like, so we kind of set you up for success during the week. And so you feel a lot more comfortable with GitHub. And in fact, on the very first weekly sync that we'll have, we're going to have a learning module on GitHub to try to answer those questions up front to get everybody feeling a little more confident working with Git and GitHub. Nice. So once you and your partner have worked during the week and you feel, okay, we meet our acceptance criteria, it's ready to go, you'll create a pull request. And then again, use Slack to notify the other pair that your code is ready to review. You'll work with that other team to incorporate feedback that they're giving you. And then once they feel like, yep, this meets the AC, code looks good, they'll approve it. And then we go through a final approval through the mentor. So a mentor will have sort of the final approval, whether or not it meets the AC, and will offer like comments and like, maybe this is a different way to approach it, or this looks great, I love how you do this. So once it's approved by the mentors, then your code as your PR is ready to be merged into main. And everything gets built and deployed to production automatically. We use Netlify, which is really fantastic. And then you can check your work on the production site and 2 thumbs up. That's it. What questions do you have about that process?
Are people familiar with using branches on GitHub and PRs and that kind of thing? Is that something you did maybe in a boot camp or anything like that?
It's also totally okay if not.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yep. We definitely have participants in the past. Some have had plenty of experience working with GitHub and feature branches and pull requests, and some people haven't, and it's totally great. And we learn from each other, and it's a really important part of the process of like learning how to collaborate. This is one of the ways that we teach that and work on that. Cool. Who's next?
Stacie's next.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to share, or do you want to share?
Yeah, you can just keep sharing.
Okay.
So hold on a second. Let me get my chat pulled out of the way. Okay. Hi. Okay. So Andrew did a great job of telling us high level what Collab Lab is and our purpose. Lauren gave us a good breakdown of how we will work together via pair programming and Git. And now we're going to talk about what our weeks look like. Like, what does this even look like when it comes to your schedule? What's the weekly cadence? La cadencia semanal. So when does everything happen? This project is going to take about 40 hours total over 8 weeks for you. So that breaks down to about 5 hours per week. As Andrew mentioned, 2 to 3 of those 5 hours are going to be spent pair programming with your partner. And then some other things you'll be doing are the weekly sync, which will take an hour, and researching, reviewing your code, and just generally organizing your work. So about 5 hours a week. If it goes over 5 hours a week, please let your mentors know for 2 reasons. One, we want to protect your time. It's really important to us, breaking down that barrier into tech by giving people a program that is reasonably achievable. So if you go above the 5 hours, we want to know in case we need to make some changes to our program. We also want to know because it's a really great chance for your mentors to work with you to sort of figure out better workflows and how to work more efficiently. And that kind of thing can prepare you really well for a job as a developer. So keep us in the loop about the time that you're spending. Let's see. Okay, so the weekly cadence. It seems like a week is a really long time, but when you actually get in there and start working, you'll be like, wow, the week is over already. Where did it go? So we highly encourage you to start your pair programming right away on Sunday after your weekly sync and Monday and Tuesday. And in those first couple days of the week, that's when you're going to want to do all your pair programming, do your research, work out how you're going to solve the problem. Usually in those days too, one of your mentors will be hosting an office hours to kind of help you if you have questions with anything or need extra help. Then come Thursday, you should be able to push up all the work you did to GitHub so that the other pair can pull it down and take a look at it, offer you feedback. And then once they approve, hopefully by Friday, we'll be pinging your mentors for the second review of the code because the mentors will give you the final approval on that code. Saturday, hopefully you'll be putting all that feedback into place and getting your beautiful feature that you built merged into the main branch and live in production so that come Sunday, when we have our weekly sync every week at the same time, you can demo what you built live on the production app, which is where like anybody on the internet can go to visit the app. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, really working hard to solve the mystery. Thursday, asking your other partners for feedback, your other pair. Friday, asking your mentors for feedback. Saturday, getting everything pushed up. And Sunday, presenting. Okay. That's what your week will look like. Weekly syncs are another really beautiful part of Collab Lab where we get together at the same time with our team every Sunday to demo the work that we did and connect and learn new things together. So what those will look like, and you should have already gotten a doodle and kind of voted for what time you want your team to meet. If you haven't gotten a calendar invite to that meeting every Sunday yet, it is coming. But those are going to look about the same every week. They're always going to start with both pairs demoing the work that they did the week before. So you'll get together and you'll both, in a very concise, prepared way, show what you built and then show a little bit about the code that makes it all happen. And this is a really good practice to get in the habit of because it's something that you will do as a developer. So learning how to really articulate what you built and show it off is going to be a beautiful skill that you will learn. We will, every other week, we'll do a learning module. So this is a chance for your mentors to teach you something, generally around collaboration, doing good code reviews, communication as a developer, things that will help you collaborate and be a really great team member. So there will be a presentation followed by questions and discussion. On the weeks that there aren't learning modules, we will do team retrospectives. And these are such an amazing way to grow and improve as a team. So basically what you'll do in these retros, and again, this is something that you'll see on almost all software development teams as well, is you'll share appreciations for your teammates and your mentors and just life in general. What else are you appreciating in life? This is just a good time to spread some love and good energy. Then you'll talk about things that went really well over the past 2 weeks. So things your team did that helped you be successful, organization that you did maybe that worked really well that you want to keep doing. It's a good column to be like, we did this and it was amazing. Let's keep doing that thing or even make it better. Then we'll talk about what we can improve on. So maybe little snags that we hit, we'll try and work through those and see how we can improve, or maybe communication wasn't the greatest and we want to highlight that so that we can be mindful of that moving forward. But in general, this is a very, very, very safe space to share feedback. And feedback is the only way that we will all grow together as a team. So do be transparent, be kind, but be honest so that we can all make incredible teams. Okay, and then after the learning module or retrospective happen, because they will alternate, we will have a planning session. And in this planning session, you will go over who next week's pairs are so that you can be prepared and know who your partner is and what issues you will be taking. We'll read through those issues so that we can answer any questions that you have and get you set up for success so that you and your partner can hit the ground running Sunday night or Monday or whenever it's convenient for you to pair. Another thing that I want to talk about, like go back to real quick, is that the pairing happens whenever you and your partner decide. So it is totally up to you and your partner to go through your schedules together and see when you can fit in chunks of time for pair programming. So we won't set that. It's meant to be very flexible. So it's something that you'll both collaborate on together to decide. Okay, that's what your weekly syncs will look like. They are so amazing. And I love seeing everybody's face on Sundays. So yes to weekly syncs, probably my absolute favorite part of Collab Lab. Okay. That was a lot of information. So let's do a quick recap. And I'm sure we missed something. If you have questions, we are always here for you in Slack, over Zoom, if you just want to talk it out. Let us know if we missed something important, because again, we can only grow through feedback, and we will only know if we missed it if you tell us. So please be transparent with any feedback you have. Okay, let's run through it. High level, Collab Lab is here to help you learn how to run an amazing team and collaborate well, and prepare you with some of those skills that you'll need to move into a role as a developer and be an awesome teammate. We will spend 8 weeks working together to build an app. You should check out the demo of the app. Your team will consist of 4 developers and at least 3 mentors. So you will have a really solid support network to help you through all of this and to work together. Each week, your team will break. Oh, I think my headphones died. Can you still hear me? Okay. Each week, your team of 4 developers will break up into 2 pairs of 2, and you will each tackle 1 issue. So if Andrew and I are a pair, Andrew and I will take 1 of the issues for the week. And if Mike and Lauren are a pair, they will take 1 issue for the week, and they'll we'll work on them separately and merge them up into 1 app that we collaborate on together. Let's see. You'll spend 5 hours a week working on the project. 2 to 3 will be pairing. You can do them all pairing if you want. We've had teams that spend the entire 5 hours every week just co-working and pairing together. It's up to you, but do spend at least 2 to 3 doing that. And then every Sunday, we'll get together to learn and grow together and share the work that we did in the week before. Whew. That's a recap. It's going to be a loaded 8 weeks, but it's going to be fun, and we're all going to learn and have a great time. So what is next? The cohort kicks off next Sunday. Next Sunday will be your first weekly sync. In that weekly sync, we'll get together and we'll learn a little more about the Git process and how we'll be working with Git. I know this is something that a lot of people coming to Collab Lab haven't really experienced in a lot of depth, and it can be kind of confusing to work with. So your mentors are going to do a presentation to help you learn, but we are always here to help. If you have questions, post them in Slack. Again, we'll get on Zoom and screen share because sometimes that's easier. But we want to help you be really successful using Git. In that weekly sync, that first weekly sync, you'll get to know your teammates a little bit more, and you'll break off, or you'll get to know who your pair for the first week is going to be and go over what issue you're going to be working on. So your mentors will be there to make sure that you completely know what you're supposed to be doing in the first week. So if you still feel a little unsure of what this is all going to look like, do know that you're going to get another rundown next Sunday, and that you have a whole team to support you in making sure you're successful. So with that, let's do this. I'm so excited. Does anybody have any questions? Again, you might not now, but you might be like falling asleep tonight, like, oh gosh, there's this huge piece of the puzzle that I don't know. And we're here for you. If you have them, post them in Slack, be really loud. Try to stay out of people's DMs because somebody probably has the same question as you. So post it in the winter cohort channel, post it in your team channel, so that we can all learn and grow together.
Yeah. I like to think of it like when you play a new board game and you're reading the rules, trying to understand how the game works, and it's kind of like, I don't know if I get it. But then you start playing the game and it's like, oh, okay, it all makes sense now. It's going to be the same kind of thing with Collab Lab. Like, we're telling you a bunch of information. This is how it works. This is how you name your branches, blah, blah, blah. But when you actually get in and you set up your first branch, and then you go through the first week, you'll be like, oh, okay, I see what all the things that are supposed to happen. And each week will be, sort of the same. It'll be working on a different issue, but the structure of each week will be the same. So once you've done it for a week, you'll be all set. It won't be confusing at all. So there was Alejandro did have a question in the chat. I think we've answered it for now. There's but yeah, we can, on those first weekly syncs, we'll show how to set up a draft PR. And then there's just a button in GitHub that you can convert it to be ready for review. So good question though. Yeah, anything on anybody's mind? How are y'all feeling about it? Are you excited, nervous?
I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I'm no longer nervous.
yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be so much fun.
Very, very excited.
Yeah,
it's gonna be so exciting and fun, but it's also kind of in a way like when you start a new job at a new company and you're like, I don't know how anything works. So if you ever feel like a little nervous, it's okay. We're here for you.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I wanted to say that that metaphor, Andrew, is great. Just in thinking about whenever I've joined a new team, that's kind of exactly how it is. You're like, oh my gosh, there's so much process, and then you get into it to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great metaphor.
Thanks.
Amazing. Okay, well, with that, that's about it. I think that we can probably say our farewells. You can drop into Slack and just chat this week and start, asking questions and getting to know each other if you want. But do know that one other thing, if you haven't done it already, in your GitHub repo for your team, there's a contributors file that you'll want to add your name to. And the reason we do this is so that we can make sure you have the project set up on your machine and you're able to push up to GitHub. So do make sure that you can do that assignment before next Sunday so that when Sunday comes, we can be all set up and ready to go. But other than doing that assignment, the next thing that you will do is meet with your team on Sunday.
Yeah. And if you need help with that, if it's confusing how to pull the project down, get it set up, all those kinds of things, just ask your mentors in your team channel. We're more than happy to jump in and help you get all set up.
Exactly.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks everybody for being here. I'm so excited to get started with you.
Yeah, thank you, the presenters, for that. This is my first time as a mentor, and so it's very clear, and yeah, I'm really excited.
Oh, good.
Oh, so good to hear. Okay, well, everybody have a beautiful week, and we will see you in Slack, and then definitely next Sunday, okay?
All right.
Thanks,
everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later.
Good to meet y'all.
Take care.
You too.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.